Hello, 105 students. I'm Dr. M, here today to talk about the mouse lab. Okay, this is the mouse behavior observation lab, and before you come to lab, you want to make sure you read through the entire lab manual section on this, section OSB. I'm not going to talk about the background information of behavior. We expect you to get that from the reading. Your instructor will probably put some of that on the quiz. I'm going to focus on the animal handling as part of this lab. Okay, we're going to be using live mice today, and that means we need to take some precautions, primarily for their safety, but also for yours. In science, anytime we use live animals, we have to ask ourselves the question, is it worth it to put the animals through whatever stress we're going to put them through? Now, the mice we're using today, we're getting from the local pet store. We're going to return them to the pet store when we're done, so it's not like we're sacrificing them. But on the other hand, the mice will be stressed. I mean, you can imagine what would happen, you'd feel like if some giant grabbed you by the rear end and hauled you up into the air. It's going to be really tough. It's going to put some stress on them. It's not a super amount of stress for these mice. They're used to being handled, but it is stress. So we want to make sure that we do it in a calm, collected way, that we don't put unnecessary stress on the animals. And that's your job. That's what you have to do. That's where you come in. Because you're the big creature here. You are so much bigger than the mice. There's no way they could possibly kill you, but you could easily kill them by making a mistake, or at least injure them. And we want to avoid that. So that means being calm throughout the lab. If a mouse gets loose, we don't want yelling and screaming and people jumping up on the tables. I'm especially referring to the football players here. It's not a pretty sight, kind of embarrassing. We want everybody to be calm, collected. You'll notice that in the instructions, it says that there's going to be different tasks. A mouse handler, an arena manager, timekeeper, and a recorder. You should be alternating those jobs, but if there is someone who absolutely does not want to handle a mouse, that's okay. You can pass that responsibility off to somebody else. They can do double duty. Okay, but you should take the opportunity to handle the mice. Some of you in your professional careers will be doing that. So you want to take advantage of that. So the first thing we need to consider when we're going to be working with the mice is safety. Now the mice can bite. They don't usually do it. Occasionally they will. If you would happen to get bitten by a mouse, you need to let your instructor know. We will check if there's a little bit of blood or something. We'll make sure it gets cleaned up. We've got some Band-Aids. We even got some with little cartoon characters on it, so we'll take care of you there. Unfortunately, in the area of COVID, we can't kiss the boo-boo and make it better, but we can give you an elbow bump or something like that to try to help out. Also, if you let the instructor know, we may have some reserve mice that we can call in from the bench, and if a mouse is having a bad day and it's a little bit testy, then we can make sure that it is it's benched and we bring in another one for you. So let your instructor know if there is an incident like that. But again, don't expect it to happen. It happens every other year or so. A mouse will be having a bad day, teams up with somebody a little bit nervous, and that's when mistakes happen. But if you follow the instructions I'm going to give you, you shouldn't have any problem at all. Okay, now, first thing you need to do is take the proper precautions. We're in the area of COVID, so we're already used to washing our hands. We expect you to wash your hands as you come into lab, first thing. And you might want to do that if you've been touching a lot of things before you start this lab. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to glove up. Okay, if we're not using gloves like these will keep the mice from biting us, but it's impossible to get a hold of a mouse with these. So we're going to be using these gloves here, nitrile or latex gloves, and the mouse can bite through these. They're very thin. They're not to protect you from the mouse. They'll protect you and the mouse from any germs being transferred. Okay, so you want to keep these clean as well. Okay, so you want to glove up and get ready to handle your mouse. And again, you want to be very calm and collected as you go about this, and make sure that if you're calm, the mouse is going to be calm. So when you're ready to go, what you want to do is you want to reach in and gently take the mouse out. Turtle. First step is to make sure you have a mouse. Okay. So I've got some mice here, and taking a good look. We definitely have mice. Now the mice are in cages. What you don't want to be doing is carrying the mouse across the room from a desktop to where you set up your arena. So what you want is for one of the other people, presumably the arena manager, to carry the mouse's cage and remove the lid for you and hold that. That makes it much easier for the mouse handler just to concentrate on the mice. Okay? Now, I don't have that person there, so I'm just going to carefully set this aside, make sure the other mouse doesn't jump out as I do this. You want to pick up the mouse by the base of the tail. The base of the tail is the best place to get the mouse. It's strong enough to support the mouse's body. The mouse is more comfortable with that than if you're grabbing it or you're reaching under it. That's when they are most likely to bite. So I'm going to reach in carefully and move around a little bit. Okay, got the mouse by the tail, and you carefully bring it out. Now this is a wired mouse, so it's a lot easier to get the mouse by the tail. Okay? So anyway, there's one mouse. Now the wireless mice are a little bit trickier because they don't have the tail. So you have to grab them just, ooh, this one's a little bit jumpy. Excuse me. I think we're just going to let that one go. What? Really? Well, that makes a heck of a lot more sense, doesn't it? Okay, I've just been informed we're not supposed to be using the computer mice. We're supposed to be using the mammal-type mice. So that's going to make our life a lot easier. So we've got the mouse here in the cage, no more tricks. We've got the mouse here in the cage, we're getting ready to get it out. You have your assistant holding the cage, lifting the lid off. And again, you're going to have to pick the mouse out. They're going to move around a little bit. You might want to put a free hand in front of it, slow it down, just pick it up by the tail. Okay, gently remove it from the container. If the mouse will get loose, we have these nets. And you don't want to try to dig into these cages with the nets. It just won't work very well. These are in case the mouse gets loose. If the mouse gets loose, you want to kind of stand around it. It's not a foosball, so don't kick it around. Okay, but then you're going to bend over and kind of herd it into the net, cover it over, transfer it back to where it needs to be. Okay, so just that's what the net is for. You might be tempted to reach in here and use it. The net's also useful sometimes in getting it out of the arena. Again, you can kind of herd it into the net if it's a particularly skittish mouse. For getting out of the cage, though, you have to reach in and, again, gently pick it up by the base of the tail. So I'm going to reach in, get my mouse by the base of the tail, and then you transfer it over, maybe put a hand under it, but not necessarily supporting it. Now, if you want to, you can support it, but that's when it's going to be a little bit more likely to bite. If you're holding it here and just moving it quickly to where it belongs, and then release it back into the cage or the arena and get the lid on, okay? That's all you need to do. It's really pretty simple. Again, the key is for you to be calm and collected, okay? If you're upset, if you are nervous, then the mouse is going to sense that. The mouse is going to get nervous, and that's when you're more likely to get a bite or have it jump or something like that. Okay? When you're done being the mouse handler, you can take the gloves off, okay, and switch over to another person. I'll just show you a trick here for getting gloves off. Presumably, if you're wearing gloves, you're wearing them because you're going to be touching something that's potentially contaminated. So you don't want to get your hands all over the gloves when you take them off. So what you do is you grab one glove by the into the palm, and you pull it up like that, and you kind of roll it up like that, and then just the very edge of it is all you touch with your other hand. You throw them out, wash your hands, okay? The other people that are cleaning the arena and stuff like that, they'll want to wash their hands periodically too, but again, after you've taken the gloves off, that's a good time before you put the gloves on. Your instructor is probably going to run through a little bit of this again right at the start of lab, but again, make sure you read through the lab manual, know what you're going to be doing, and come into lab ready to do the job. So again, relax. It's really kind of fun working with the mice. This is a really neat experiment that we do this week. And we never know what you're going to find, because on the second experiment, you're going to be coming up with some new ideas. And some of them, you know, each semester almost, it seems we have somebody comes up with an idea that nobody's ever done before. So that's to get ready for the mouse lab, and we hope to see you in lab very soon. Thanks.